Hey there. Context. My name is Rebecca McLaughlin. I'm getting a book published sometime in 2018, depending on when my edits with my editor are finished. I signed with my agent, Pete Knapp, in 2015, December time. I had over 20 agents request to read my manuscript, and from that I had several offers of representation. Let me start out here and say that that's insane. That's just crazy. It's uncommon to get multiple offers. It's incredibly insane and wrapped up in a bundle of how the hell did this happen and how the hell am I supposed to react to this happening? If you find yourself in the lucky position of having multiple offers, or even if you just have one offer and you're trying to figure out if this is a good fit, here are some questions that you should ask yourself and the offering agents. So step one, if they've made an offer, they should have sent you a copy of their contract. If they didn't, ask for one. Scrutinize this contract. It is a business arrangement. You are signing away your soul. You'll never see it again, and you're probably gonna end up in hell. Just kidding, hopefully. I mean, I didn't read all the fine print, and I did sign in blood. Honestly, don't take this lightly. Just because you get an offer from an agent or multiple offers, it doesn't mean you should accept it. Even if you click with the agent on every level possible, if that contract doesn't feel right to you, don't sign it. There are a lot of things that go into a relationship between an agent and an author. Foremost among them is the fact that this is a business arrangement. You are both in it for a profit, and the contract should protect both of you. One thing that helped me in determining which agent to sign with was thinking a lot about who I wanted to say yes to. But more than that, who would it be easier to say no to? You could be going through the motions of, wow, I kind of want to work with this person and I kind of want to work with this person. How am I supposed to make this choice? It's like adding hot peppers to salsa, to habanero sauce, to wasabi, to the fire of the sun, and then consuming it and being, this is fine, this is normal, everything's on fire, it's great. Thinking about who it would be easiest to say no to will maybe help you start staggering those options. And for those of you who only have one offering agent, if it seems like you kind of want to say no, but you're thinking about saying yes because it's your only offer, really sit down and think about it. Once you make that decision, it'll be awkward or tough to leave that situation later. Question 3. Who are you comfortable asking a million questions to? You're gonna have questions. You already have questions. You probably have a million questions right now, and you should ask them to someone. You might be like parsing your questions out, looking things up online if you can. Maybe that's how you found this video. But really, if you're entering into this new business relationship that you've never been in before, you've no experience in the publishing industry at all, you're gonna be confused. You're gonna be frustrated. You wanna work with someone who is there to answer all of those questions and you're not afraid to approach. I know this can be a little bit difficult to think of because a lot of writers are introverts, INFJ in the house, but you're gonna have to ask them questions, you're gonna have to talk to them, you're gonna have to work with them for a very long time. You're gonna wanna find someone you're comfortable talking to because the next piece of advice, question 4, is ask those questions. Ask them all of the questions popping in your head because you don't wanna make a decision without those questions answered. And I'll come back to step 4 in a bit to go through a list of common questions. Question 5. This is a business and a personal relationship. Not only are they working with you, but you're working with them, and you're going to be spending a lot of time talking to each other on and off for basically probably the rest of your life. I know commitment's scary, guys, but theoretically, you could have one agent for the rest of your entire writing career, which, if you're like me, is until you die, maybe after. Maybe I'll be a ghost publishing books. That would be awesome. So while you want to pay attention to the contract, make sure you're comfortable communicating with them, you also want to make sure you click on an interpersonal basis. So I'll tell you a story about how this worked for me. When I first messaged Pete and we were setting up the phone call where he was going to offer representation to me, in that first email, I had written to him and said, I'll be there at 4, I won't be late. The only reason I'd be late is if the world were ending, if we were being attacked by velociraptors. Miscalculated the time I was getting out, so as soon as I knew I was going to be late, I messaged him and said, velociraptors have been chasing my car. I'm going to be late to our phone meeting. Can we push it out by an hour? Not only did he say absolutely, but he also just took everything completely in stride and said, do your best to avoid dinosaurs until then. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Someone who doesn't think I'm totally insane and accept the fact that I am very business-oriented, but also a little bit kind of weird in most ways, really, all the ways. I sort of did that on purpose because that's the type of person I am. I want to be able to fly off the rails and go off the wall a little bit. So it was really important for me to sort of throw a curveball of craziness. I don't want to sign a contract and then 6 months from now is when you finally realize that, wow, she's super hard to talk to, talks about velociraptors sometimes. I did not know what I was getting myself into. But you need to know what you're getting yourself into. You want to make sure you guys click. Thing 6. Does their vision for the story match your vision for the story. Sometimes agents are a little hesitant to share editorial details with you. They don't want to just throw out all of the problems and then scare you away, making you think that they don't like your stuff. However, if they want to change something core to the story, if there's a stopping point, you should know about it. Now is the time to figure that out. A fun fact, one of the agents that offered hadn't even finished reading my book and said, "Oh, can you explain to me what happens with the rest of the story? Because I want to offer representation and I want to make sure it ends good." And I was like, what? Obviously this was an agent who just said, "Oh, she has other offers. I better swoop her up real fast." After I explained the end of the story, which was super awkward during that phone conversation, they said, "Oh, well, as long as X happens, that'll be great." And I'm sitting there like, X does not happen, and you're super cray-cray. But thanks. Sometimes finding the no is easy, like if they haven't read your book. Thing 7. That's not 7, that's 8. Thing 7, talk to their clients. Now this is something that they may or may not offer, but definitely ask. It's really valuable. I noticed your agent switched agencies. Why did you choose to follow them? Or what's the best part about working with this agent? What made you want to sign with them? Getting that valuable type of information about what they are like to work with from the people who currently work with them, it's critical. And anyway, back to the 4.1 part questions. Is that what I called this section? Who knows? Here's a quick list of questions you can ask any offering agents. And it's important to note that sometimes they're going to try to put you at ease as opposed to answering your questions. Which, to be fair, they don't want to scare you off. But if you really want the answers, press for them. So when you ask a question like, "What happens if we can't sell this book?" They might say something like, "We're definitely going to sell this book. Oh, don't even worry about that." Not every person who signs with an agent gets that first book published. Sometimes they go on submission and it just doesn't work out. So you want to press and say, "Okay, but what if it doesn't? What happens then? What if we disagree on changes or direction in the story? Have you ever terminated an agreement with a client before? What did that look like? What were the circumstances surrounding that event? How much money does your average client spend on things like web development or marketing? What sets you apart from other agents? What sets your agency apart from other agencies?" Now this might sound a little presumptuous, like, tell me why I should pick you. And it kind of is. If you have multiple offers, you want to know what is different between agents and agencies, because chances are you probably don't know because you've never had one before. Definitely ask this question. What was the moment that you decided to offer me representation? This is a question that I've suggested other author friends ask, and the responses they get always are overwhelmingly heartwarming. Oftentimes the agent will point to a line in the text or a moment in the story. That'll be the moment that spoke to them, where they said, "Wow, I gotta have this book. I gotta work with this author." And that is a really good feeling. You want to know why this agent wants to work with you. Not just because, "Oh, it's really commercial and I think we'll sell it." You want them to have the same passion for your work that you do. Here's a note for the editorial aspect of working with agents. If one of the agents gives you an editorial note like, "I think we should work on pacing in the first part of the story," don't be afraid to go back to other agents and say, "I had another agent mention this as an area that needed work. What do you think about that?" And this is important because maybe they didn't think it was an issue, or maybe they have their own ideas of how to fix that issue. If you're getting any type of editorial feedback, take it. That is my brief list of questions. So just ultimately, overall, just remember that working with an agent is a business relationship, a personal relationship, and that you shouldn't accept an offer that you don't really want to accept. You want to feel good and confident about this relationship you're building, because your future career kind of hangs in the balance a little bit. So if that means that you should bring up velociraptors in your very first email with your agent to see if they roll with it, do it! And just remember, there is no timeline that you are beholden to. Yes, technically, within a week, you should be able to accept or reject that offer, but ultimately, don't be rushed into a decision. Take it on your own turf, take it on your own time, and make sure you're making the right decision that's best for you. So that's all I have for you, and I wish you the best of luck. This is probably the part of that video where I should be like, "Hey, I'm on social media right here, probably, maybe is where the name is, or maybe over here, or over here. Maybe all of those places, because I'm bad at doing videos still." So until next time, which may be at some point in the future, probably. Definitely not in the past. Well, not technically, because I have videos I recorded in the past that I've not posted yet, so it could be from the past. We never know these things. We can't see the future or past.